A form is used to send data from a user into a database. Now you can use forms for, if you want to for authentication you can use a form. For a questionnaire or for a survey you can also use a form. It's just used to collect information. So if I have a look at this form here, this is a form that is a bit designed with CSS as well, but we're not going to design it. We're just going to create a simple form and look at the different attributes that are used with the elements of a form. So we have the username and we have the input where we the bar where we enter input or enter the username. Same with password. Then we have the login button and we have the remember me. Now this text over here, let me create a form first. To create a form you use this form tag and closing tag. Now if I go back to our page and I refresh it, you're gonna see that it doesn't have any effect. Now to create the username, you put the label tag. These are labels. Username, password, remember me, these are labels. Okay, these texts that are used alongside their input, like this input, that input, and this checkbox input. Those are called labels because they'll tell you how to enter information. So we put in a label here like that, and I'm going to put username inside of it. Now if I go back here, you can see once I refresh, it gives us the username. Now to create that box where we accept the text for the username, we write the username, we use the input like that. Okay, and if I just do that, by default it's gonna give me this text box. This is called the text box. I can change the type and I can put date. If I do that, then it's gonna give me a calendar. Okay, so I can open up this calendar and I can select a date like that. I can also change it into some other formats like file. This is gonna accept a file input. I can change it into number. This is gonna have a spinner like that where I can spin and just enter some number. I cannot enter any, actually I can enter text. Okay, so I can enter text. Then there's a lot of them. You can search them up, these different types of input in HTML forms, but the default is text. Okay, and in order to make this required, I can put the required statement there, and this is now going to be required. And one thing I forgot to show you is the button. So let me just put this here, and I'm going to put type submit. Now what this does is that it creates a button. Okay, and because this is this should be out. Now because the input is required, then once I refresh and I do that, it's going to say please fill out this field. You can see it's not sending information, but once I fill out the field and then I submit, then it doesn't give me any error. It doesn't ask me for that. Now if I go back to this form over here, I can see that it shows me enter username. That's that grayed out text inside of the box. And to add that, what you want to do is this: you use the placeholder attribute, and you can write here enter username. Okay, use double if you want to use space. So if I refresh, you can see it says enter username. And then let me delete that. The next thing is how to create this remember me. You can also let me just show you about the login button. You can create a button as well like this. There's two ways of doing it. One is by using the input element, the other way is by using the button element like that, and I can just put in login here and button like that, just like that, and then I can add the button inside here like that. okay, the text inside there. And I can style it with CSS, but I'm not gonna do that. So now we have to create a label called remember me. So how do you do that? I'm just gonna put in the label remember me. Okay, and then the input is going to be check box. I'm going to delete that. So simple as that. You just refresh and you can see it says remember me. I'm just going to delete this button here. And if you want the box to be on the left side, then you can drag this input element over here, and you can see now it's looking better. But one thing I want to draw your attention to is the fact that if I have to check the box, but if I put my cursor on the text and I click it, it's not going to check the box. But over here, if I touch the text, then it does check the box. Why is that? Well, if you want to achieve the same functionality, then you can take the input and you can put it inside the label element like that, actually like that, because we want the input checkbox to be on the left side. Then once I refresh, then you can see that once I click on the text, then it does get checked, unlike previously where you had to check the text box directly.